This is Bulgaria's capital, Sofia, the country's largest city by far, with about 2 million people, and its oldest city, founded long before Christ as the ancient city of Serdica. I'm here on Vitosha Boulevard, named in honor of the mountain that I'm walking toward at the end of the street. It's Sofia's most famous street and one of Europe's great pedestrian ways. This is a very walkable city, and I recommend that if you come here, there's no better place, day or night, to start seeing Sofia than on this splendid thoroughfare of outdoor cafes and coffee shops, interspersed with internationally recognized brand name stores. This is my last stop in a journey across Bulgaria that's taken me from Veliko Tarnovo to Plovdiv and now to the westernmost part of the country in this beautiful Sofia Valley. Geographically speaking, we're pretty much in the middle of the Balkans here, equidistant to the Adriatic Sea to the west and the Black Sea to the east, and with a cluster of countries within short distance, including Serbia, Greece, North Macedonia, Kosovo, and Albania. And I got to say that so far, Sofia has impressed me. I expected it to be beautiful, but there's a vitality here that caught me by surprise, which maybe shouldn't have, considering that it's not only Bulgaria's capital, but a crossroads within the Balkans. So I arrived here in the late afternoon yesterday, and after checking into my apartment in a nice little neighborhood near the train station, which I'm passing right now, I thought I would walk back here last night and hop on the metro and do a little preliminary exploring of the city center. You know how it is when you're new to a place and don't know what to expect, and it's getting dark. Well, just about at this point, going down these stairs to the underground, I started wondering, what's up with this place? It's dark, floors are rough concrete, a lot of old brick walls that have been painted as colorfully as possible, but it doesn't look like any subway tunnel I've ever seen. The more I thought about it and the longer I walked, I began to see, wow, this is really quirky down here. But I thought, this can't be a subway station. It's gotta be just a leftover series of underground passageways to help pedestrians avoid the streets up above. And then after going through this very old, kind of creepy, dimly lit tunnel that seems to be headed to nowhere, all of a sudden you pass through a door and into a modern, clean, well-lit, state-of-the-art metro system, deep, deep underground. Who would have thought it? Buying a ticket here is optional. And by that I mean you can use a ticket, or you could do as I'm about to do, which is to just tap my credit card to get through the turnstile. Simple as that. So for 1.5 leva, or about 80 cents US, you can go anywhere in Sofia the metro takes you, including transfers. And that's pretty cool. Here we go.
Next station, Boulevard.
Constantine the Great is said to have loved Serdica so much that he almost made it the capital of what became the Byzantine Empire instead of Constantinople, today's Istanbul. The Macedonians and Romans who controlled the city from the 1st century BC and going forward several hundred years left the name intact. Despite everything that historians know about ancient Serdica, there was really little physical evidence of it until barely 20 years ago. And for that, we have this subway and the M2 line, to be specific, to thank. When you come out of this subway station, you're not only in the heart of downtown Sofia, but an entire ancient city's ruins are staring you in the face. The ruins you see here when you get off the subway include a Roman spa, an amphitheater, and the walls of countless buildings from ancient Serdica. Truth be known, a good deal of central Sofia would have to be demolished if you were to expose all of Serdica. You may notice how small this church is. If you recall from my Plovdiv video, Christian churches built during the Ottoman Empire had to be kept out of sight from the street so that a person on horseback couldn't see the church from above its wall. The church was built by Christians in the 14th century when Bulgaria was under Ottoman domination. At the time, this was a neighborhood of leathersmiths with shops specializing in saddles for horses, hence the church's name. Archaeologists had suspected there were great ruins here as early as 1919, when someone discovered a plate from Roman times showing gladiators fighting wild animals. Then the ruins of an amphitheater started to emerge in 2004 during the construction of a fancy hotel. The hotel got built, it was later went bankrupt, and it was designed in such a way that you could see part of the ruins beneath the lobby. Then came the metro dig starting in 2010. It took nearly a decade to complete this line because no one guessed that it pointed straight through ancient ruins. But part of the dig, what you see here, was left exposed outdoors. There are more ruins inside the metro station. Two quick things about the name Sofia, and that's right, it is Sofia. If you were to Latinize it, it would be Sophia. You see that beautiful statue of the Greek goddess Sophia in the background? The city is not named after her, which is why tons of ordinary folks here were offended when the statue was erected in the year 2000. Church leaders were offended too because they thought it showed too much cleavage, but that's another story. Things have settled down, and as time has passed, more people recognize the beauty of the statue. By the way, it's said that the female representation of the statue was inspired by Sophia Loren. And I gotta tell you, the more I look at it, the more I think it's true. There are many notable old churches in Sofia, but of all of them, this newer one that you see behind me from the late 1800s has become a symbol of the city. This is the Alexander Nevsky Cathedral, home of the patriarch of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, and named for a Russian prince who played a key role in the Russo-Turkish War that led to the liberation of Bulgaria from the Ottomans. This Neo-Byzantine style church has two things going for it that sets it apart. It's the most important house of worship for Bulgaria's Orthodox majority, and it's the largest cathedral in the Balkans and among the largest churches by volume in the world. I have no video to show you from inside the church, and that's because the church wants 30 leva, or the equivalent of almost $17 US, just to use a video camera, which in my view is grossly excessive. And considering that it's a church, well, let's just say there are plenty of other beautiful buildings to photograph and video in Sofia without being shaken down. While it's a Bulgarian icon, the materials used to build this church came from all over Europe. The marble and lighting fixtures from Munich, the gates in metal from Berlin and Vienna, the mosaics from Venice.
Just around the corner from the cathedral is Sofia's most historic church, the one after which the city takes its name.
Here it is. This is Sofia's namesake, the Church of St. Sophia, which is built in the 4th century CE. You can't really tell from the video, but it's on a slight hill. And back in the day when the town was a lot smaller, one of the first things people approaching would see is this church. So over time they would say things like, "We're almost to Sofia," meaning the church. Well, flash forward 1,000 years, and in the 1400s, it was decided this city would be renamed Sofia.
Sofia is more than the sum of its beautiful buildings, parks, and streets. There's a vibe here that tells you right away to slow down and enjoy the day-to-day, which in my next video from here is what I set out to do.